Hi guys, so many of you have asked me to do a track overview of track Inside from the EP I've released at the end of April on Bahn Records. I will link this link so you can check out the whole track, but today I want to focus on specific aspect of this tune so you can get the idea how I actually created it. Alright, so starting off, we have this flute kind of sound, and this is the main theme, the main element in the composition. So I have achieved that sound from the plugin called Mandala, and in the Mandala you have many different bank presets. Alright, so this is the website of the developer of that really cool plugins called Mantra, and they have like many amazing sounds did from acoustic instruments, very archaic instruments. So this is how I basically achieved the sound of the flute. It's from the library called Oracle, and it sounds Gardenia. Let me play it for... Yeah, and I have some effect, a lot of effects over here. I will group them and unlink them. So the plain sound sounds like that. But if I turn on the effects, which are mainly EQ, some chorus, phaser, echo, auto filter, that's it. We are getting something more spacious. But the thing I like to do on those kind of sounds, very atmospheric background like pads and everything, I showed you that in the how to make a pad sound, which you can check out, the link is above. So so as you can hear, this is the plain sound, and we have this extra layer that comes from the plugin called Decimort, which is basically Beat Crusher. And as you see, I have linked LFO linked to the frequency. Without it, and just a touch. Maybe I could use a bit less. And I like to have that on those pads and strings, because it just adds an extra layer, extra depth to everything. Yeah, so this is the main lead, and I just played some notes. In this case, I kind of like maybe played it by improvisation, and I had some moments, like as you can see, all of this was played by me. Basically, we started with one note, and then the pattern gets a bit more developed, and then we have this change of the rhythm. Or the change of the whole thing. And it's just a thing from the plugin where you can change its timbre, basically with the different X, Y and Z parameters. So I haven't done anything special around here, just change the tonality of the thing. So this is the main lead, and when we go further, or when we start off, like in the low end, it's kick and bass, and I'm kind of like having kind of psytrance, one note bass line, which is from some sub I did in Operator. You can get this rack if you sign into the community I run for Hypnotic Techno producers. There's already a rack created from that patch, so you get that. And then when we listen to the whole thing, we get this texture, a lot of textures. There are those voices, and there is this noise that we hear all the time. Basically, it's a loop, which I've used from the Riemann collection sample pack. Really good samples packs for hypnotic and deep techno production. So it's just it with a bit of compression and echo to make it more stereo. Yeah, just to spread things a bit. But the thing with vocals is me playing with the grain delay. If I turn off the grain delay, it's just me like improvising with some vocals, adding some different beats here and there, and I just put it on two different effects, effect chains. Yeah, one maybe with different echo time. No, it's pretty much the same. But yeah, but we have this grain delay that adds that, which makes it kind of like outwardly. And I highly recommend you experiment with the grain delay on vocals. It sounds amazing. So we have this bit, and then we have this sound, which I learned how to do it from Mordio's channel. So check out his channel, Mordio. There is like wet techno sound tutorial where you can learn how to use this, how you can create this sound. And the thing is that I'm playing really low notes, and for this kind of rock it works to play low notes, because then you get this kind of like really. So if I play high notes versus really low note, it really sounds better. Yeah, when we play a really long note like minus C minus 2 or something like that. So this is the textures. And then I would say it's pretty basic when in terms of different stuff that happens here. We have some effects. We had this really nice effect. So there is this percussion thing. And this is the thing I did from the also another samples which I've cut it. So whenever you take some sample packs, loop, let's loops, and then let's take some percussion loop. Yeah, let's take that one. So when you take that loop and you click convert slice to new MIDI track, it's gonna create a new MIDI track with this loop being kind of like represented on the MIDI notes, I would say. So then you can play with how the loop is played, basically. Basically changing it into something really different. So this is something it's something totally different. So I can't remember which loop I took, but I've created this beat that comes along, and I'm using an auto filter automations to make things like come alive. So here it's a bit hidden, but then it gets open, as you can see there is this automation curve, and I'm having a bit of LFO just to add some movement. And this is a bit in Hypnotic Techno that we try to inject a movement into the sounds with effects, with LFOs, with automations. What else do I have here? A bit of shifter, a bit of saturator just to kind of like color the thing, and a spectral resonator. I wanted to, so it has that tonality. I think spectral resonator is really cool for those sounds. There was a moment that I wanted to like make this a lead, but it was getting like too much. So I kind of like quit that. Then we have different effects here and then to make things more interesting. I like to use those organic effects like shakers, hats, or some stuff like that to help with the transition. And then we have those, so it's basically a ride with a bit of frequency, shifting from frequency shifter, now shifter just, and this. Then we have some different hats, and this is the bit I like to do as well, so to swap hat sounds, even if they play just simple offbeat hat, I like to have it played by different elements. Oh, and this is interesting effect I did. So here is kind of like Q&A pattern. We're gonna start to hear it maybe from here. Yeah, so we have this one being kind of like the first one, asking, and then the rest follows. So they don't play at the same time, they kind of like dialogue with each other. So this is another effect, audio effect, with a lot of, just echo. Echo is my go-to delay plugin, to be honest. And here I've used stereo flyby, which is spectral delay, a really cool effect. So without this, it's simple hat, but with the stereo flyby, I guess. Yeah, we get this kind of outwardly sound. And then at some point the energy goes up with the help of that loop coming back. An extra hat as well. So we have two layers coming in. Over here we have the flute playing, doing its thing. So we kind of like approaching a crescendo or a climax, I would say, at this point. Oh, we have extra hat layer just to push things up a bit. And here, to make the transition really better, I just played just one note, held note, to kind of like sustain and create a tension. We had some. And then there's emphasis on this sound. Yeah, we have some sequence of that sound with a bit of automation. So now it's like a different sound coming in on the foreground. So, and now different set of hi-hats. We have those tiny hi-hats, which are modulated by some effects. Let me see what is. Valhalla Supermassive, I guess. Yeah, we have Valhalla Supermassive as a delay here. And we have those snake hats audio, which is basically open hat with a reverb on it, but I'm modulating the, oh, you can hear it right now, the reverb decay, I guess, or the size, can't remember. Because when you do that, oh, you get that nice kind of really subtle, but on the context of the whole composition, it adds that extra movement again. And have that 8 kind of like pattern on right. And then since we kind of like entering a kind of slightly different world, this moment sounds as to me was kind of like completing the whole thing and getting that kind of insight I was thinking of while producing this. So as you can hear, nothing fancy in my opinion, just a matter of choosing really cool sounds, which I got from this Mandala plugin, which I highly recommend. There's tons of amazing sounds over here with different libraries they have. And then structuring a beat around the development of the main theme, as well as creating some interesting textures and effect that would create an ambience for that flute. With all my tracks, I try to create kind of like nature-alike environment. It's not totally nature, but I would use some organic sounds like my voice, like field recordings, and I will like process them with mainly Ableton stock plugins. Sometimes I would use different plugins if I feel like. And yeah, that's it. So I hope that was helpful, and I hope that inspired you to create your own track. If you want to learn more, like check out this video when I show you how I did Deliberate Practice, which is other track from that EP. Till the next time, bye.